Welcome to the ICAP Gen video on research planning. My name is Julie Stoddard, and I am an accredited genealogist professional specializing in the Mid-South region of the United States. To begin with, let's talk about the importance of creating a good research plan and why that is valuable to any researcher. Whether you are performing research for yourself or for a client, spending your time searching the records that are most likely to provide success is critical to a good project. The steps for creating a good research plan include the following. First, list the research objective and known facts. Second, decide what information could answer the objective. Third, understand the locality of your research. Fourth, identify sources for that location and time period. And fifth, prioritize sources based on the information they contain and their ease of access. The first step is to create a clear research objective, which usually is to identify facts about an individual or prove the family relationships of an individual. In your objective, it is important to include the key identifying information such as a birth date, birthplace, and any known relationships. Consider this example objective. The objective of this research project is to document the maternal grandparents of Lottie Melissa Rudy, who was born 10th of July, 1893 in Missouri, to James Winton Rudy and Mary Jane Shepard, and who died in 1980. The second aspect of step 1 is to list the known facts. Before beginning research, it is important to gather all the existing documents. Each of those documents should be reanalyzed, and each clue and fact should be listed out. It is also very helpful to create a timeline which includes the dates, places, and details. Step 2 is to determine what information could solve the objective. So first decide what your first steps are going to be by working from the known to the unknown. For example, in this research objective, our first step will be to research in Missouri to learn more about the parents of Lottie Rudy before we can try to identify possible maternal grandparents for her. Step 3 is to understand the locality. This step is often overlooked by researchers, but spending time up front to learn about the locality can save research time later on. For basic research problems, it is definitely important to understand the jurisdictions and any boundary changes, and also the available repositories in the area. For more complex research, you will need to understand the geography, migration trails, histories, and laws of the area. Records are created by a variety of jurisdictions, such as government, religious bodies, and businesses. Each of these entities can have sub-jurisdictions. To find the record, it is critical to know who created the record and where it is kept. Here are some examples of modern government jurisdictions, showing the national, regional, and local levels a researcher needs to be aware of. Part of understanding the locality is to be aware of any jurisdictional boundary changes. This is especially true in the early U.S. research, when many of the county boundaries were changing on a regular basis. This is especially important because so many of the records were kept on the county level in the United States. Several options to learn more about these boundary changes include finding maps that relate to that time period. This can be done by searching Google, for example, Center County Maps 1800s, or historic maps and the name of the location. For U.S. locations, the Newberry Library's Atlas of Historical County Boundaries can show you the exact boundaries of a county at any given date. This example illustrates the need to understand the locality before proceeding with research. It also demonstrates how to use the Atlas of Historical County Boundaries that was created by the Newberry Library. I have an old family letter that states my great-grandmother, Rebecca McCormick, was born in Penns Valley, Center County, Pennsylvania, March 28, 1783. Notice on the map in the left-hand column that by choosing a particular date, it changes the map to show the current boundaries of that date. It also creates a pop-up box that shows when the county was created and from which counties it was created from. So in this case, it shows that research on the McCormick should actually start in Northumberland County. If you are researching in England and Wales, a great resource is the England and Wales jurisdiction maps of 1851, found on maps.familysearch.org. There are several tools, as shown in the images below, that can greatly enhance your understanding of the locality. You begin by searching for a particular parish, and after choosing that, you can see that other places in the parishes are listed, when the records begin, as far as the parish registers and the bishop's transcripts. Also, by clicking on the Jurisdictions tab, it will list the various jurisdictions that will help you know where to locate different records. For example, the Civil Registration District or the Probate District. Another great feature is under Options, and by choosing the Radius Place Search, you can show all parishes listed within 10 miles or 20 miles. Another aspect of understanding the locality is to become familiar with what repositories are available. You can search Google or the Family Search Wiki for library or archive or repository, and then add the name of the locality. Remember to try the various jurisdictions, such as local, regional, and national jurisdictions. After understanding the locality, the next step in creating a research plan is step 4, to identify which sources are available in the specific location and time period. For example, if you were searching for a birth in England in 1825, would you search for church or civil records? Or would federal census records be helpful to identify a child in 1750 in Virginia in the United States? One way to identify which sources to search is to use the record finder for each country that is found on the Family Search Wiki. In this record finder for Italy, you can see the 3 columns of what you are looking for, which records to try first, and then other records that may contain the information you need. Another great resource is the list of important record types for each region that is found on the ICAPGen website under Regional Resources. The important record types are major clues for which record types to consider first when creating your research plan. You can see in this example for the Mid-Atlantic states, they have those that you should know very well, and then the record types that you should have a good working knowledge of, and then those for some familiarity. So the first column of must know very well indicate which records are the most useful to turn to first. The 3 key aspects to consider when looking at the various record types include what is their content, what is their availability, and what is their coverage of dates and geographic areas. There are many resources available in books and online to help you learn about the various record types. For me, one of the most useful resources are the Family Search Wiki articles on the various record types because they list their content, their availability, and their coverage. I find it especially helpful to use their many links to the online resources. Because there is so much information available online, when I research, I prefer to have a summary guide of what I can expect to find in the various record types. In this example on my military records, I have compiled what I can expect to find in the records, where I can find the records, and what dates they cover. Most of this information I have compiled from the Family Search Wiki, but as I come across other articles or blogs, then I can add to this summary guide. The final step in creating a research plan is to prioritize which sources you should search first. This should be based on the information the record contains and how easy it is to access those records. So ask yourself, which records are the most likely to contain the information I need? And is this record available online, or would I need to travel to a repository? Many of the research questions we come across as researchers are common ones, such as how to find a parent or how to identify a maiden name. So one tip would be to create prioritized lists for the common research problems. You could even include one on how to perform early research in a region versus later research. If you are considering becoming accredited through ICAP-Gen, it is important to realize that research planning will be considered in the grading of both your Level 1 project and the Level 3 test. The Level 1 project rubric states that the correct records for the area and time period are used in an appropriate manner and they are used in a logical order. For the Level 2 ICAP-Gen test, there will be specific questions on research planning in both the General Questions section and the Document Interpretation section. So why do all three levels of the test involve research planning? First, ICAP-Gen's AG mark assures a client that you will provide excellent research. This means the client assumes you will be searching in the best possible records. For the Level 2 test, research planning questions are based on a document or story problem. An example question would be, suggest 5 or 6 sources to search and then tell what you hope to find in each of those sources. For the ICAP-Gen tests, good research planning is based on, number 1, a good understanding of the methodology, 2, the important record types for your region and what information they contain, and 3, other information learned for the test. And remember that all levels for the ICAP-Gen accreditation process are open book. One suggestion for when you're working on these research planning questions is to ask yourself, what are the most likely records in this region and time period to contain the information I need? One tip is to compile a research reference guide that would list the important record types for your region and what information they might contain. You can watch the ICAP-Gen video on research reference guides for more information. There are many resources available as you prepare for the test. Consider the Family Search Wiki, Ancestry Academy, conferences or classes, online articles, blogs, and webinars, and research books for your country like Val Greenwood's The Researcher's Guide to American Genealogy or Mark Herbert's Ancestral Trails on British Research. In summary, the research planning steps include 1. List the research objective and known facts. 2. Decide what information could answer the objective. 3. Understand the locality of your research. 4. Identify sources for that location and time period. And 5. Prioritize sources based on the information they contain and their ease of access. As you follow these steps, you will not only save time in the long run, but your research will also improve.